In this video, I'm going to walk you through AI workflows, how to use them, and how to get the most out of this functionality. If you don't see AI workflows in the left-hand menu, you can find it under the More section. Just click here on this lightning bolt icon to open it. From here, you can either create a new workflow from scratch, or you can edit and view the ones that you've already created. So we'll use this one, send a personalized reservation welcome message, as an example. This is a one-step workflow. To create something like this, you simply describe in plain language in this box what you want to happen, and the system will build a workflow for you. So in this case, the instruction is to send a personalized welcome message thanking the guest for their booking. And once created, you can review exactly how the workflow has been structured. You'll see the trigger. In this case, this is when a reservation is created, the scope, which properties it applies to, and the steps, such as sending a message using the guest booking details. So you can edit the trigger and the scope from here, or you can add instructions like only apply to specific listings in the box here, and any other updates you'd like to make, you can just add in plain language and let the system adjust it. Once you've built the workflow, before activating anything, you can preview the workflow using this button here. For reservation-based workflows, you can select a real reservation as an example, and this won't perform any actions, it just shows what would happen. For example, you might preview using a guest like Susan, and the system will simulate the scenario and show what actions it would take and the exact message it would send. So here it shows the steps, and if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the exact message that would have been sent to the guest in this case. This is useful for checking tone, content, and making sure everything looks correct. If you want to run a real test, you can use the Run Once option here, and this will force the workflow to execute even if the trigger hasn't occurred yet. When customizing the behavior of the workflow, you can be as specific or flexible as you like with your instructions. If you want a fixed message, you can put the message in quotes and it'll be sent exactly as written. If you want to exclude or include certain elements like a guidebook link or a payment link, you can definitely specify that. And you can add timing delays here, for example, sending a message 1 hour after a booking is created rather than straight away. You're also able to define conditions in here, as mentioned before, like specific properties, date ranges, so only sending it to guests who've stayed within a certain date range, or a booking source, only sending it to guests who book through Airbnb and not booking.com. And of course, workflows don't have to just be triggered by a reservation being created. They can also be triggered by guest messages in the inbox, reservation updates or cancellations, SMS or WhatsApp messages, or tasks or cleanings being created or updated. You can view all of the options here. The key point is you don't need to manually select a trigger. The system determines it automatically based on your instructions. On the right-hand side here, you'll see the activity section, which shows every time the workflow has run and exactly what it did. If the workflow fails, you can copy the error message, paste it back into the workflow prompt, and ask the AI to explain the issue. So it will diagnose what went wrong and suggest improvements. You can then update the wording and try again. We also offer the option to run for upcoming. So by default, workflows apply to new events. If you want them to apply to existing upcoming reservations as well, you can enable Run for Upcoming. For example, if you wanted to create a workflow to send a Stripe deposit link, this option ensures it also sends to reservations already in your system, not just new ones. Now we can take a look at a more complex example. We'll use this one here, Automate Early Check-in Requests. This workflow has multiple steps and conditional logic. It can detect when a guest requests early check-in, respond with conditions and any associated fees, identify whether the guest agrees to pay, trigger different actions depending on their response and the timing of their response. It can also send payment links, notify team members, and adjust behavior based on conversation history. So this is where the workflows become really powerful. You can define different outcomes depending on what the guest says and when they say it. So you can see the trigger for this one is when a guest sends a message. So just a couple of best practice tips for building workflows. Don't just rely on the generated summary. You should read through each step to confirm it matches your intent. And if your workflow is complex, you can consider using an external tool like ChatGPT to help structure your prompt before pasting it in. If something doesn't work, try rewording your instructions rather than starting from scratch. Most workflows will work, it's usually just a matter of getting the wording right so it understands exactly what you're trying to achieve. Some other workflows you can create include sending Stripe deposit links automatically, scheduling reoccurring property inspections with automated rescheduling if the property is occupied, and updating cleaning notes with specific guest details such as access codes derived from booking data. These examples show that workflows can handle both messaging and operational tasks across your system. So here are a few other tools and capabilities. If you click on the book icon up here, you'll see the available tools that the workflow can use. You don't need to reference these manually, but you can if you want more control. For example, you might specify using a particular tool for a specific action. In most cases, plain language is enough. You can see how many options we have here for actions that the system can take. Once a workflow has been created, you also have the option of sharing this workflow with the community. So if you choose to make your workflow public, your workflow will then appear in the marketplace, and other users will be able to view your workflow. So if you're not sure what workflows would work for your business, you can go into the marketplace and view other workflows that ProHost users have shared. You can select a workflow, copy it, and then adapt it for your own use. So you can see we have this toggle here that allows you to switch workflows on or off. And using these three dots here, you also have the option to duplicate a workflow to create variations, delete a workflow no longer needed, or you can preview and publish the workflow from here as well. We also have a run section up here where you can see all workflow activity across your account, and an approval section. So if you've set it up so that it requires manual approval before executing the actions in the workflow, you'll be able to accept or decline those approval requests from here. So just some final tips. If a workflow isn't working as expected, try to adjust the wording, add more detail or constraints, use preview and testing tools, or you can ask the AI to diagnose the issue. And if you're still stuck, please feel free to reach out or book a session and we can help you build it.